For centuries, our kind has stayed hidden on Earth. But darkness has found us again.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
In today's podcast, we're covering Transformers Rise of the Beast.
Now, in past reviews, we've covered the original Transformers movies, along with the Bumblebee movie. So now we're getting into the latest film in the franchise.
Yep. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and keep up some future podcasts and want to pause videos.
Thank you for following us, for subscribing, and for joining us. We really appreciate you so much.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm silly. Just call me Gojo.
Yeah.
So we finally actually got to watch this movie.
Yes.
After it had been in the theaters and it was available digitally to watch.
Yes, pretty quickly. And this particular movie, I believe it says taking place in the 90s.
1994.
Right, because the Bumblebee movie was about late 80s, so Rise of the Beast takes place in early 90s. And for this particular movie, it takes a different route on having the antagonist be Unicron, and I guess you could say his lackeys, wanting to find the sparks to, I guess, take over of the Earth. Which, he's in the Earth, he kind of did it already.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has a whole different feel from Bumblebee. It looks like that was successful for a lot of people because people really loved Bumblebee. Biggest reasons because they loved the fact that Michael Bay was no longer directing it because they cannot stand that man. So they were just thrilled that he wasn't involved in Bumblebee or this movie.
Well, he was involved. He actually was one of the producers.
Excuse me?
The producers are Don Murphy, Tom DeSanto, Lorenzo de Bonaventura, Michael Bay,
Oh my god.
Mark Bahadrian, and Duncan Henderson. So yes, he was involved.
Yes, so we were really actually excited about this movie because we did enjoy Bumblebee, and contrary to popular belief, we enjoyed the Michael Bay movies minus the Last Night. That one,
That was the worst one ever.
yeah. But aside from that, we enjoyed the movies ourselves. And we saw this when we saw they weren't going to go straight into Megatron and other characters we've seen being antagonists over and over and over again. Here, like we said, Unicron is really the antagonist, and then they have one that works for him, kind of like how Darkseid has his lackey, Unicron has his as well. And the battle is really trying to fight him and beat him to getting all these pieces of artifacts that will charge up Unicron, as well as meeting Beasticons in here. And they're actually a different type of Beasticons. They're beast formers, I think. And they take the form of Earth animals on here. And they're like the last of their kind. So it's a whole different ball game with this particular movie.
Definitely. So, want to point out to you that this was a box office success.
Mm-hmm.
Budget was between 195 and 200 million. They made 439 million at the box office.
Yes.
And there was a ton of production companies on this, actually. Paramount Pictures, Skydance, Hasbro, New Republic Pictures, the Bonaventura Pictures, Bay Films, Entertainment One, and Allspark Pictures.
Wow, that's a lot of people involved.
And distributed by Paramount. So yes, there were a lot of people involved, not only in the production, but in the cast, not only as the humans, but also as the Transformers, and we'll get to that shortly. But the two main characters and the two main actors were Anthony Ramos, who you know from In the Heights, and Hamilton, and Dominique Fishback. Well, he played Noah Diaz, and then Dominique Fishback is Elena Wallace, and she was an artifact researcher, an intern who he ended up partnering with in this movie.
Yes.
To get what needed to be done.
Right. And for this particular movie, they do kind of reference the fact that human and the Transformers team up yet again, just like with the previous films. Only this time you got more street savvy Autobot, rather than one who cannot speak or one who is still unfamiliar with Earth and has his own personality. This one you would have thought was just born and raised on Earth and he was just a human, an Autobot really acting human. And on one hand, it was a neat idea to see how he was been on Earth so long, he just adapted the mindset of a human, even though he wasn't from here. And it was a different dynamic to see these two different characters, one human, one alien, but this one acts so human you almost couldn't tell the difference and see how he looked. And on the other hand, it seemed kind of off because a lot of the Autobots in here acted differently. And we understand these are taking place before the Michael Bay film, so that might be why the personalities were different. And if these are accurate to the comics or other versions of the cartoon, you can tell us in the comments below. One particular thing I wasn't a fan of is, well, actually two. First would be Optimus's personality. And you've seen him for years as this wise leader. He wasn't always like that, true. When we see him as Orion Paxton, he had to get adjusted to being leader of the Autobots and grow into the character we know and love. Here, I don't recall there ever being a version where Optimus was a pretty prejudiced. He did not want to be on Earth, and we're assuming, okay, he wants to go back home, of course. No, he just hates humans, which kind of put a lot of people off for several reasons, because as much as he said this is going to be their new home, this, especially in Bumblebee, this movie kind of established you couldn't wait to get his metal behind off this planet.
Yeah.
And it really didn't sit well with me and other people. Like, that's not Optimus. That's not Optimus.
And in here, for me, the best part was listening to the Transformers and figuring out who the voice actors are. So we'll go through that quickly because there were some big stars and we actually recognized quite a few. So first and foremost, as always, Peter Cullen is some version of Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And the unmasked face in the film was actually designed on Peter Cullen's face itself.
Yes, it was pretty cool.
Ron Perlman was Optimus Primal, who was the leader of the Maximals.
Yes, that was
Of course,
awesome.
we recognized him immediately.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
And his beast mode in the film was based on an unused concept that was supposed to be used in Transformers The Last Night.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I guess they found a way to use it.
So we have Peter Dinklage as Scourge.
No way.
Yes. Michelle Yeoh as Eraser.
Mm-hmm.
He had Pete Davidson as Mirage, and we didn't recognize him.
Yeah, it was like a whole different character.
And he said he based his voicing on Jim Carrey's The Mask meets Bugs Bunny. Go figure.
All right, then. That's a way to describe it.
And Lisa Cozy was RC, and we didn't recognize her either.
Because she looked totally different from Prime.
Right. John DiMaggio, Stratosphere, who was an Autobot Air Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And David Sobolov was Battletrap and Appling.
Yes.
And you had a few more people who we're not familiar with. Tongai Sharisa as Cheetor. Christoph Fernandez as Wheeljack.
Mm-hmm.
Coleman Domingo as Unicron.
Yes.
Speaking of.
Right, and they had a ton of voices in here, as you can see.
And then they had 4 main non-speaking bots. Bumblebee,
Mm-hmm.
Rhinox, who was a commando, a Maximal Commando, who was a white rhinoceros.
Mm-hmm.
The Sweeps, an army of spider-like Terracons. And the Scorponauts, an army of robotic scorpions.
Right. And another thing about this movie that was a little odd is the fact that we have Unicron as really the biggest evil of all. He's really something way bigger than Megatron. Even while poor Megatron served him. He has his servant pretty much. What's his name again? The servant of Unicron?
Peter Dinklage, I think, was Scourge.
Okay, yes, Scourge. They kind of treat Unicron a little differently in here. Yes, he is still sort of within the Earth, but the thing with the Unicron is that there really weren't that many Cybertronians that wanted to serve Unicron. One, because on a whole nother planet, and two, he was the ultimate evil of this universe, and they knew if something didn't sit right with him, you could be gone in the blink of an eye like Thanos. Here, Scourge and others worshipped him like a deity. And it was really weird because it was like they have this guy literally be the equivalent of a Cybertron devil.
Yeah.
And now he's being worshipped like he's a deity, and they're gonna give him whatever he wants, and this guy's gonna hunt down all of the beasts, and hunt them like trophies, and it just became a little bit mixed up in there. I'm like, okay, so is he working for this guy and worshiping him, or is his main thing to kill off the rest of the Beasticons that have survived and escaped him? And it's like they weren't sure which one to do, and they just did both. So his goals end up being like two things at the same time, both to hunt the Beasticons and to get the stuff for Unicron, which was a little weird.
Well, I think some critics may have agreed with you because response was mixed. There were some that really loved it, giving it a 7 out of 10, IGN. Rotten Tomatoes, whom we never listened to, gave it a 52% or 5.2 out of 10. And they said audiences gave it, great on the special effects, consensus, genuine human drama. But then you get to some people like the Chicago Times, Richard Roper, who only gave it 2 stars, saying, "Never fear, the old school adventure soon gives way to yet another fast-cut, murky, CGI-fueled action sequences.
Yeah.
The stakes couldn't be lower. The excitement ain't less palpable. How many times have we already seen these 2 long battle scenes? Blah, blah, blah." And during the opening monologue for the 96 Academy Awards, Jimmy Kimmel poked fun at the film, as this was written by artificial intelligence. So the reviews were mixed.
Yeah.
So some people did agree with you on what was happening within that movie. It didn't make it terrible.
Right.
It really didn't. It was just something that was weaker that could have been a little stronger.
Right. And my last issue, I think, was with Bumblebee, because it was almost like they were being ironic in the case. They show Bumblebee a lot in the trailer, but you watch the movie, he's pretty much out of commission for almost the entire movie. They have this one bout of Scourge. The Scourge. The Scourge. They have this bout with Scourge that leaves him nearly he straight up kills him.
Yeah.
And they have to bring him back almost at the end of the movie.
And we were like, what? What are you doing?
We already had one rip out his voice box. This one just straight up stabbed him.
Right.
And he was gone the entire movie. We thought that they had killed him off altogether. We weren't happy. Well, thank goodness it wasn't permanent, but it was so weird. Him just being out of the movie when one of the main highlights is him in the movie with the other Autobots.
Well, they tricked you in the commercials.
I guess they figured, well, he got his own movie. He don't need to be in here, too. So, okay, bye. That's why we get some other Autobots to focus on. But that's really where the issues stop. Like you said, it's not a bad movie at all. It's just, I think it was just a lot they wanted to do. And they tried to do it all at once. And they were trying to, find a way to get everything in without making it too long. Like, it's already over 2 hours. I mean, I don't know how much more time you need.
We did not expect it to be that long. We were very surprised when we checked. It's like, oh my gosh, we still got another hour.
Yeah, especially when Bumblebee was a little shorter, but still felt like a complete story.
Definitely. So, if you've seen Transformers Rise of the Beast, let us know in the comments. Did you love it? Did you think it was mid? Did you hate it? Did you see it in theaters or on TV as we did? Let us know. If you haven't seen it, it's available everywhere to stream and to buy. Give it a watch. Come back and tell us what you think.
Yes. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, we give you for anime series, animation shows, and all things animation, and more Transformers.
Yes, a quick notice, like Lego, they were smart enough to make a lot of figures for this movie, and they sold really well.
Oh, I bet.
But thank you so much for joining us, and if you can, share this video on your community tab or social media pages. It really helps us out a lot. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And the Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.